In the darkness, some pony coughed. Who coughed? Silence reigned. Who? A dim violet light sprang into being. Twilight Sparkle's horn barely illuminated the cramped, windowless room and the 6 ponies within. A world of dark purples and inky blacks, colours distorted by the monochrome aura of the magical implement. Shadows pooled in the corners, looking just beyond the reach of the unicorn's spell. Rainbow Dash watched as Twilight glared at each of their friends in turn. None spoke. Silhouettes danced along the walls as the unicorn moved ahead, causing the light to jerk and shift. Pinkie Pie huddled near the barred door, eyes wide and uncomprehending as she stared off into the uncertain distance. The baker twitched slightly, squeezing the bag of flour that she clutched so tightly to her chest. On the room's only bed, Rarity lay next to Applejack, her head buried in the farmer's shoulder. The dressmaker shook as she sobbed quietly. Dash didn't know whether the unicorn's distress was because of their situation or because of their hygiene. The room reeked of unwashed bodies, and Rarity's mane, like every pony else's, was tangled and knotted and hung heavy with filth. Applejack, for her part, merely stared stoically back at Twilight Sparkle when the librarian's gaze turned to her, and then those eyes were on Dash and on Fluttershy. The two were locked in an embrace. It was the only comfort they had in the room. The weather pony found her voice when the other Pegasus began to shudder. What does it matter? Twilight's brow furrowed. Get serious, Dash. It's better for the 5 of us to get through this than none of us. Coughing is the only warning we get. Fluttershy's whisper carried well enough in the enclosed space. Couldn't we, wait and see? It could just be dust or cold, please? I really wish we could risk it, Fluttershy, Twilight said, the sharp edge of her voice softening slightly. But there's no going back once it reaches the final stage. You saw what happened out there. Do you really want that in here? Applejack sighed, then spoke up. She's right, Sugar Cube. It's not contagious till the end. We got a choice to make. 1 death or 6. Rainbow Dash gritted her teeth. Isn't there anything that can be done? Can your magic cure it? Stop it? Slow it down? She paused, then added in a hoarse whisper. Anything? The unicorn shook her head. Even the princess can't cure it. She can only contain outbreaks that do happen. Every carrier has to die. That's the only way the rest of us can be safe. The only way for the rest of Equestria to be safe. You know that, Dash. Time matters here. Why are you stalling? The weather pony's mouth worked, but no words came forth. Fluttershy's voice, suddenly confident, filled the gap. I coughed. It was me. Rainbow Dash gaped at the other Pegasus, eyes wide in shock and horror. The pink-maned mare turned to look at her and spoke, once again hesitant. It's okay. It'll be okay. I couldn't live with myself if any of you died. And I could have prevented it. It's better this way. Dash shook her head slowly and whispered a single no. Applejack's voice was grim. Her mind's made up. It's a tough choice, but Fluttershy's got the strength of an ox on the inside. How is she going to? The Pegasus trailed off. Twilight Sparkle sighed and slumped to the floor. We don't have any weapons, and I'm not trained in combat magic. If I were, it can't be me. It has to be you, Dash. What? Why me? The unicorn looked away. I know you well enough that you'd never just stand aside and let one of us lay a hoof on your filly friend. Maybe intellectually you'd know that it's necessary, but your emotions get the better of you. Ask yourself, if it has to be any of us, would you really want any pony but yourself to... Rainbow Dash rose to her hooves. You're right. The mare's voice was hollow. She took a step away from the other Pegasus. Applejack spoke. Fluttershy, sit up and put your head against the wall. You'll be a mite. But the mare choked back tears. Quicker. I'm so sorry, Rainbow Dash. I wish it could be any other way, Twilight said. The rainbow-maned Pegasus looked over her shoulder to meet the eyes of the man she loved. Fluttershy had taken the Earth Pony's advice. They stared back at each other silently for a moment. Eventually, Dash found words, as insufficient as they were. Sorry. I love you. I'm so sorry. The other Pegasus replied, voice shaking. I love you too. And I forgive you. It's better this way. Just make sure Pony takes care of the animals. This is over. And everything is back to normal. I promise, whispered Rainbow Dash. She took careful aim. One buck. It would be quick. Fluttershy deserved that much at least. When she was sure she'd connect, vision or not, she spoke. Cut the light, Twilight. No pony should have to see this. The Holmes glow disappeared. Years of running and kicking clouds had honed Dash's muscles. She reared up on her front legs, gathered all her strength, and kicked out. She connected. A dull thud was accompanied by the sensation of warm droplets splattering across her flank. It was followed by a high-pitched moan from the agonized pony behind her. Rainbow Dash reacted to Fluttershy's continued suffering without thought. She reared again and bucked repeatedly, steadying herself and adding force with swift flaps of her wings. On her fourth kick, the other mare's keening stopped with a sickening crunch. The weather mare's hooves dropped back to the floor. She stood shaking, her eyes wide and heart beating nearly out of her chest. Her fetlocks were drenched in sticky blood. She could feel it beginning to clot. She wondered, despite herself, whether the mess would stain, whether the coat would always bear the red residue of her deed. She wept quietly to herself. Silence reigned. In the darkness, some pony coughed. And that was My Little Pony, The Cough. A My Little Pony creepypasta by Ebon, Maine. Okay, you know, I'll give this story points for proper punctuation, spelling, grammar, all that. But this story was just so damn frustrating. Well, okay, not as frustrating as Thomas and the Children. It's not even a close second. Now, it's not the worst story ever, but bear with me. The fact that... Where do I even begin? All this was caused by a pony coughing. Yeah, I said it. Now, the characters... I don't know how to describe it. They act both out of character and in character at the same time. Like... Pinkie Pie would, she would, you know, cradle a packet of flour or sack rather to her chest. But I don't know how to describe this. You know, other than, you know, they're acting both in character and out of character at the same time, and having to make the choice, you know, 1 death or 6. It's a cough! It's a fucking cough! Well, you know, granted, you know, during, like, you know, COVID season, you know, a cough, like, you know, instilled panic in a lot of people, but this is My Little Pony! And, you know, look, I get it. I get what the author was trying to go for. It was a spreading sickness. But, you know, it doesn't give it, you know, a certain name. You know, it's just labeled as a cough and nothing more. And Twilight saying that every carrier of this cough needs to die. What the fuck? Twilight, you're the smart one. You're supposed to be the smart one. You can make a cure for this. And, you know, even if you do, like, you know, kill every carrier, you can resurrect them back after. Well, actually, no, because, you know, that won't erase, you know, the lives you took, and you know, some ponies might label you as a pariah for it, and some might probably want to try and kill you, but I have never been this mad at a story before. I have, well, okay, maybe that's not true. Maybe, there was this, story where, you know, Fluttershy took Pinkie downstairs to, you know, be a, you know, incubator for, the caterpillars to become butterflies or something like that. I don't really remember the full details. But And then, you know, Fluttershy admitting she coughed. Wow, you talk about having the survival instincts of a fucking peanut. And then, you know, having to, you know, kill her, which again, Twilight, you're the smart one, supposedly. You know, you could make a cure, you could make, you know, a potion to, you know, at least slow it down. At least. You know, until you find a cure. Saying that she deserves the quickness. No. Fluttershy doesn't even deserve that. She did not deserve to die over a fucking cough. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't be this frustrated with a story. Ebon Main, I'm not sure how you pronounce it. If you're watching this is a critique of your work and not you as a person. Like, but I'm sure your later works are better than this. But alas, my final rating of this has to be like a 2 out of 10. It's such a frustrating story. But I have to give it props for, you know, proper punctuation, spelling, all that. But it's a fucking cough. They don't even give the disease a name. It's a cough. But anyway, that's my personal opinion. What did you think of the story? Did you like it? Did you not? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and hopefully the next story I'll read is less frustrating than this. Yeah, this is more frustrating than Thomas and the Children, actually. Fuck.